Amen.
Morning.
Morning.
How you doing?
Good. And you?
I'm okay too. Thank you very much. Say how was the last week? Did you survive? Especially the last weekend.
Survive, that's the word.
Yeah. But now that's over, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yes, of course not. To say I'm going today. Of course, I have to make you some questions about the after election happenings. You
Yeah.
know, yesterday. Say first of all, I'd like to know your opinion. Say it was tighter than we thought it would be, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
election, it was
Yeah.
really balanced. I was waiting, or I didn't hope, but I was expecting that Magito would have a larger advantage. Why do you think it was so tight?
Because of the people who didn't vote, right?
Okay, that's a good point.
Didn't or didn't vote for anybody. Uh,
Do you think that could be, for example, because of his vice? That, for example, some people were afraid that he eventually died, and as
yeah.
people do not know exactly who the vice is, and especially because he is like a pastor from the Universal Church, do you think that
Yeah.
some people could give up in the end?
I think it is. I think it is because the strategy of von der Leyen in the end was really focused about that to create scenario of not secure,
Yeah, not unsafe, an unsafe.
yes, unsafe scenario
Mm-hmm.
to the people about the state of health of Magit. So in one hand, these take votes away from him, from von der Leyen. But in the other hand, people got disbelief
Mm-hmm.
to go to vote and maybe elect a person that they don't know, because we don't know Rogério Cruz. So I
Yeah, for
think
example, it was my case.
that's the
Uh,
main the main explanation for that is this. Of course, we have the pandemic and other things, right? But in the first round of the elections, we have 30% of people who doesn't vote. A little bit more if we add the people who didn't vote for anybody, uh, or
like the
white.
whites and canceled votes.
Yes, but now is was crazy. The people who didn't vote or didn't vote for anybody was more than the votes that Magito received. So it's crazy.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy, right?
Yeah.
So in the first place, for example, it was nobody. Yes, the
Yeah.
first in the first position was nobody. The second
Yeah.
Magid, in the third. Yeah, but I question you that because it was my case, for example. I wouldn't like to vote in the second round because I truly do not believe in these people who are there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my first desire it was not going to vote, but I had to because more than a right is a duty. Yes, it's a
Yes.
duty we have, so we have to accomplish. So I decided to go to vote, but I was with this in my mind. you know, and say, what if? What if Magito do not survive? Because if Magito survive, okay, I'm going to vote for him. I prefer him than Van der Laan, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best option would be another one, but there's just two of you, so I have to decide among you. So I decide for Magito. But in the other hand, like you mentioned, Magito chose a terrible vice, because not terrible because it's a bad person. No, we don't know him, so
Yeah.
that's why it was a bad choice because nobody knows him, right? And we don't know what to expect. The only background we have is that he's a pastor from Universal, so that's a very terrible background in my personal conception. Talking about
Yeah.
me specifically. So I said, in the end, I was very, very insecure about voting for my. But in the other hand, I got Van der Laan and say the risk of Van der Laan get elected, it was also big because many people were thinking as I am. So in the end I pressed 15. It was a terrible thing. I felt bad, but in the end, it would be worse if we got elected the other guy. So
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
I'm saying that's really, really bad. That's
I
my
I
concept.
saw I saw a tweet of Mira Leitão on Sunday night saying that was a defeat for Ronaldo Caiado here in Goiás because he lost not only Goiânia, but he was humiliated in Aparecida de Goiânia. Um, and when one guy replied the tweet saying that something like that, people prefer to vote in a guy that is in intensive treatment in a bed than vote for the candidate for Caiado. So this say a lot about the other guy. And that's it, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. Saying this, in fact, the scenario of Goiás, it was one of the worst. It was
Yeah.
not just terrible as Rio de Janeiro, for example, because that it was unbelievable, but it was the scenario that we had no options to vote for because we want, for example, like I would vote in Recife or in São Paulo, for example, in Porto Alegre, that we got progressists uh, candidates, and here in Goiás it was
Crazy.
a crazy conservadorism washing. It was
Yeah.
that's the word. It was a washing. Because Maguito is the most progressist of all of them. So can you imagine
Yeah.
how crazy we are living right now? But anyways, I think it was I wouldn't say the best because it's not even good, but it was the last worst, I think.
Yeah.
Although yesterday we got a crazy moment in our Goianiense politics with Iris Rezende's speech. Have you seen what he said?
As speech, you say, I
It was
listen.
an interview or something like
Yes.
this.
Yes.
He mentioned something about Daniel Vilela. Have you seen
Yes.
this?
Yes. Yes.
They say, what do you think? It's like a coup?
Uh, man, it is a party man, right? So since the beginning, we knew that he was in support of Magid, um, but he didn't declare that because of his proximity with Kayad, who was supporting Van der Laan. Um, and he got a real pressure of his family to not get involved more in politics. So his retirement of politics is majority because of his family pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That said, when the election, the running ends, né, he was, how can I put that? He was incentivized, I think, to he was free to say that Daniel Vilela is he has authority to run the process, right, of transition and that kind of stuff. So I think that that was natural. This, although the people used to say that it is doesn't like Danielle because they have a different point of views and ways to do stuff, but it is always will prefer to support a person of MDB than a person of another party. So that's I think was natural.
And his this vice, which party is he from?
Republicanos,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, the same
Thanks.
of João Campos,
Oh Jesus.
federal deputy.
Yeah, pastor. It's from
Yeah,
Assembleia, yes.
Assembleia, Ministério Vila Nova.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. I know. I remember.
Yeah,
Wow, his brother or his cousin, he was arrested some years ago. Do you remember? I think
of João
Milton.
Campos.
Yes, I think it's his brother, Milton Campos. He was the
Mil-
president of Assembleia
yes,
Legislativa.
but Milton Campos is related to João Campos.
I think they are cousins or brothers or something like this.
I don't know.
Yeah, they are. I remember because Milton it was from Igreja Batista in Vila Nova, and I remember it was a commotion in the church
Yes,
when he
yes.
was arrested
I
because
remember
his
that.
yeah because his gismo was very important. But okay,
Jesus.
yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
think was in 2014, I think.
Yeah, it was like in the when Marconi started losing power, you know,
Or
when
something like that.
yes, when Marconi lost the influence he had, and eventually he would lose the election
Yeah.
for senator and this stuff. So I remember this period, and that's why my conception of this family is really, really.
Yeah, I know some stories about that, but was crazy. I lost my faith in that people a long time ago. When because as a journalist we have access some stories that people wouldn't believe, crazy, really
Yeah,
crazy.
no, oh my gosh, I remember. Well, we know many things because of some proximity, you know.
Yeah,
So, but we know things like how can I say that unofficially, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like extra officially, we know many stories, terrible stories about the
yeah,
family, about his brother that is like a crazy person. All right, anyways, but what I mean is our scenario is really complicated. I was just thinking because yesterday made everything confused. Yes, you say, for example, um, uh, we don't know if Magito is going to recover, and if eventually he doesn't, for example, if he eventually die,
hmm,
his vice is going to assume, of course.
yeah,
But I can imagine that after the introduction of yesterday, we can assume that Daniel is going to be very important in the administration
Yeah.
of the city. Of course, he's not going to be an official one because he can't for many reasons, like nepotism, and he's not exercing any public service, is he?
No, he is
No,
just a president of MDB.
of the party. Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that. So I don't know. That could be a possibility that he
Yeah,
eventually.
we have two scenarios there. The first one that we have been discussed that for a few weeks now, and we have two theories, two things that could happen. The first one is Magito have expectation of brief recovery. So
Mm-hmm.
that case, Daniel has, as it is said, the authority to command the process and of transition and to indicate people for the office, things like that. Um, by mainly because he's the son and he knows the way of Magito thinks, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if Magito um, take a long time to go back, we probably will see the VC, the Juan,
Right.
uh, takes takes the seat, takes the
Mm-hmm.
and will enjoy the power. And then in that case, he could take Daniel
Take away.
for the side, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that, I think.
And which do you think it's the most probable?
I don't know. Accordingly,
It's unpredictable.
yeah, yes, it is. Accordingly to the updates of Albert Einstein, Magito is recovering. He's taking down they are taking down the sedation of him. He is almost conscious, ap- apparently, but we don't know.
Yeah, we never know. His family got serious problems with this disease. Yes,
Yeah,
two
yeah,
two
but
sisters passed away.
yeah, yeah. So could take a long time. We really don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yes, because for example, this creates an unstable scenario for the
Yeah,
next year, a political scenario, of course, and the political scenario affects everything, right?
yeah,
We are living in an unstable moment because of the pandemic and how Brazil deals with it, yeah,
yeah,
or how Brazil doesn't deal with it. That is worst. So we already live in an insecure scenario, like in an unsafe thing, and gets worse when you got this kind of thing, you know. And now talking about the other guy, because we discussed a lot about Magito and all the proceedings they eventually can take. But
mhm.
let's talk about the other guy, the defeated one. Say, what do you think is going to be the future of Vanderlaan? Because now he is like a three defeated man, yes?
Yeah.
He lost this year, he lost 2 years ago, and he lost 4 years ago,
Yeah,
like
I
in the
I
last
say
three
that
elections.
I say that in on Sunday in the newspaper programs and the podcast. So uh, we have this. Van der Laan is a senator, so he has already 6 years of mandate,
Yes, I know. Unfortunately.
and he said on Sunday that again that he will not run on 2022. So
For what? For
for
governor?
governor, yes, he said that he will not run. He had that he will support Caiado and that kind of stuff. We can't believe him because he said that in 2018 that he wouldn't run for mayor, and here we are. But he said that. I talked yesterday with the president of his party, PSD, Vilmar Rocha, and Vilmar Rocha said that the party probably will have someone to run for governor or for vice or for senator in 2022. So of course. He doesn't said that will be Van der Laan because Van der Laan said that he will not run. But I think uh, even if Van der Laan wants to, the situation of him is really hard to run in 2022 because of this defeat. He lost the run with really close votes for Maguito, but he ends the running really burned, because of his attitudes and the way he put himself in the critics of the state of health of Maguito and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think that the rejection of him by the population is really high right now, and I don't know if the people will forget that just a couple of years ahead. So
Just one question. Senators cannot re-elect it, right?
yeah, can
They can, for example, next in the next election, for example, Van der Laan don't need to run because he still have the other 4 years. But
yeah
after this period, for example, in
28
2026, it's
8 no
2020. I don't know.
yes 6
Yes, 2026, he can run again as a senator.
yes
Uh, I thought it was forbidden because it's like 8 years. So it's already a
yeah
re-election included. I don't know.
yeah
But
but
anyways,
that he can if he wants to.
yeah. So let's imagine this scenario. For example, I can see. Do you think, for example, that we can have another name coming back to run for governor? For example, if Van der Laan said that he won't, but he is a possible name. Yes.
Yeah,
Of course, Ronaldo Caiado is going to run again, although all the problems he had in Goiânia, especially because of the pandemic.
yeah,
Uh, do you think we have another name like
it's
that?
hard to say right now because the names that we had before, like Marconi and Jose Eliton, that people, they are really out of the scenario right now. They are not even quote by anyone.
Yeah, Marconi lost for senator. Yes, that was
Yeah,
some
yeah,
years ago
and
an unbelievable thing.
he's living in São Paulo. He's out of the picture. But this is now, right? Of course, he can next year, for example, if the process against him ends and he was played not guilty, and he can put himself again in the scenario and discuss politics and the future of Goiás and that kind of stuff. But right now it's really difficult that for that to happen, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I I don't know. It's always a very unpredictable scenario when you talk about politics because people change their position all the time. Yes, it's not something that oh they're going to be like this and that's how it goes,
Yeah,
right? The other interests are very how can I say connected. You know, like people people change
yeah,
their positions in politics because of interests, and
yeah,
this is an expected thing. But
yeah,
although it's complicated, I don't know, it's crazy.
yeah. And
And
we have the national scenario too, right? We don't know what could happen 2 years from now. Sorry.
yeah, but no, don't worry. But
And it's really really uncertain. We have a really uncertain future.
yeah, that's insane, right?
Yeah,
We don't know what's going to happen with a decided election, for example. Yes, it's complicated. For example, here in Goiás, we don't know what's going to happen next year that the election is decided. We concluded the electoral process and we don't know what's going to happen.
yeah,
So that's how uncertain is our life.
yeah,
Yes, our lives right now. Say the scenario is absurdly unpredictable because even with a decided election, we don't know what's going to happen. Can you imagine
yeah,
about 2 years from now that everything can change? We don't know because the pandemic still is here, although people do not care about the vaccines are coming, but now we have the challenge of convincing people to take them. Yeah,
yeah,
that people are not taking vaccines for sarampo, for example, or for these diseases, like even though paralysia or these stuff, paralysis, that people are not. I think that the last campaign was extended because we do not hit or we do not reach the expected numbers for vaccine children. So the scenario is really, really, really crazy. You know, like
yeah,
we
yeah,
don't know exactly what's going to happen.
yeah. People are, I don't know what is happening actually.
No, it's really it's I don't know if it because we are a little shocked about everything is happening and this electoral moment was terrible for us.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
talking especially talking about the elections itself, but also talking about the period we're living. Yes, the politicians ignore that we are living in a pandemic moment, and so the explosion of cases is it's expected. It's completely
yeah,
expected. It's a matter of time. Yeah,
yeah,
and well, I don't know what's going to happen here. Probably here in Goiás we have controlled the situation. Yes, it's not exactly a disaster.
yeah. We
So
still have high number of cases, but at least the deaths is going down. But and the number of people who got in the hospital, that kind of stuff, it's not that bad. But it could be in the really next future.
Yeah, we are expecting, we are hoping not, but we expect
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That in some days, say because everything got back to the normality, although the virus is still over there, right? We hit a number of 172,000,
yeah.
172,000
Brazil, right?
people.
Yeah,
Yeah, that the United States hit the unbelievable uh, number of 2,500,000. Yes, something like this, or
yeah,
that's really, really crazy to think. It's like a
yeah. The
quarter of
numbers are
million.
really high,
It's a
really high.
quarter of million, yes, and you're talking about a not a, how do you say, lethal disease. The mortality taxes is like 3%, and
Yeah,
with 3% lethal, we got 172,000 people who died. So this is an absurd thinking
yeah,
about it, right?
yeah.
Say,
And in USA, the scenario is really, really worse. They have
yeah.
1,000 of new cases per day. It's
Mm-hmm.
what?
Yeah, and they never stop dying
No,
a big numbers. Like at
no.
least it's 500 every day.
Yeah,
So, because
crazy.
in Brazil we got better days. For example, days that died 300,
Yeah,
270. I'm not saying it's acceptable, but it's not comparable to the US,
yeah,
right? Uh, and that's insane. That's insane.
yeah,
We When you think about it and say, but it's not so severe, guys. You're talking about almost 200,000 people who died because of this disease. It was the main cause of death in Brazil already,
yeah.
and we have 1 month to finish the year. Precisely, yes. 30 days. Today is December 1st. You say, are you going to have vacation, Marcus,
In January.
in January?
Yeah.
I say, are you intent to try to travel in this moment?
I don't know yet because Amanda. I depends of Amanda have a vacation too. So she don't know yet if she will have a vacation in that same period, and then we not planning anything yet because of that.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I don't know if it's going to be possible. I'd like to travel like 3 weeks from now in December because the
Mhm.
prices were very, very attractable. But the pandemic risk, I don't know if it's a good idea.
Yeah, I really wanted to, but I don't know if will be possible.
Let me just take something here. Yeah, it's complicated because we have many buts. Oh, this sentences was not good, but we got many opposite situations. Yes, things that runs against this possibility. For example, I was intending to go to Rio because the prices were really, really attractive. But we don't know
Mhm.
if in 3 weeks Rio de Janeiro is going to work. or it's going to have a lockdown. Although the mayor of there, however, he is defeated, he's still mayor until
Yeah.
December 31st, so he can do all the madness he wants. So probably he would not close because he's Bolsonarist. So he would not shut anything down. But I don't know. I don't want to assume this risk. I took COVID once, and I really don't like to take it again
Yeah, me too.
because although it was not terrible in me, it was in my mother, and I
How?
got very.
Um,
Oh, now she's much better. Yes, on Sunday she left the hospital. Thanks God.
all right.
And yes, that's really good because now she's at home alone and she has no contact
Okay.
with other people. I went there just to see, just to check upon her. But she's feeling much better now. She is more, I think she's happier, and this helps
Mhm.
you a lot in the recovery.
Yeah.
She's sleeping well, better, because in the hospital the bed was very uncomfortable, and the noises of hospital
Yeah.
uh,
They
disturbed
never
her.
stops, right?
Yes, they disturbed her a lot, and now she's at home. She can rest, and then we made some soup because she loves soup, and then she's eating well. So
Mhm.
yesterday I talked to her. When we finish our class, I'm going to call her now to check how
Mhm.
she's feeling. But yes, she's much better. But although it was a terrible situation, like she was really affected by the disease. She got, it was not severe, like needed to tubs or to go to therapy care, intensive care, but she went to the hospital and took some oxygens because her lungs were working just 50%. Okay, and 50% is an acceptable situation for the
Yes.
disease, but it's difficult to breathe, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's insane.
Yeah.
And because of her reaction of the disease, I'm very scared, because say it was my mother,
Yeah.
and it's the closer that can be.
Hmm.
Yes, I think closer than this, just if it was with me, and with me it was okay. I wouldn't say it was like a flu because I've never thought, I've never felt as tired as I got when I got
Yeah.
COVID, you know.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that there was no desire to get up from the bed. Yes,
Yeah.
no disposition for anything.
And you have
So,
a really, the body really hurts. It's
yes, body ache all the time. We do not sleep well, and
yeah.
there is also the psychological part that affects. I remember that although I didn't have any problems to breathe, I woke up in the middle of the night without air, but it was a psychological thing. I say I thought I got no air, but I was breathing normally.
Hmm.
So I got very impressed because of this, and because of this, of course, I couldn't rest completely. So I was always tired. I was always hurting and headaches and fevers and sore throat.
Hmm.
Yeah, say, and there is these strange symptoms like not 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 smelling and not tasting.
Yeah.
I
That.
didn't lose I didn't lose the taste, so I was eating normally. But I lost this many. It was absolutely one of the craziest and weirdest thing I've ever experienced because it's insane, like you're here and you're not smelling anything. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it doesn't matter if it was smelly or if it was a good smell. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
And this. really affects the taste too, right? So it's
Yes, of course. And I can imagine. I just can't imagine how is to lose the taste, because
yeah.
I just lost the smell and it was crazy. But now I think about the people who cannot taste the food and say, I think that in this situation, I wouldn't like to eat, because say, what's the funny of eating something? It's just an obligation, you know.
Yeah.
That's insane. So these unsafe scenarios we are living, political and sanitary, are an invitation for the collapse. Yes, the financial collapse that it's going to happen eventually. And to finish in these last 10 minutes that we have for our conversation, uh, what do you think? Brazil is going to is Brazil going to accept that Joe Biden won the election, or we are going to do like Russia and wait?
It,
Because Putin is the best friend forever now, yes, of Bolsonaro.
and we don't know actually. Bolsonaro is. I think that he don't know that. uh, with they put some sense in his mind, because Brazil really needs to 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 get not partner, but to get not not in the enemy line of of course, we're talking here about the first economy of the world so far. So we need to make some partnership with that, right? With them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if we have somebody in the in the governor to put some sense in the president's mind, he'll probably uh, go and recognize the victory. And uh, I don't know to support Biden, but at least
To have an acceptable relation.
yeah. And I think that could happen, but if depends only of him, then I think that he don't know that yet. Because he is really susceptible to pressures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when a president is susceptible to pressures of the population and the crazy people that support him, anything could happen, right?
Sure, of course. But do you think, for example, that Brazil can be like an ally of Russia right now?
Can. uh,
You say because Russia has nothing to offer to Brazil, right?
yeah, but Turkey also hasn't. And Bolsonaro is close to the president of Turkey. So Israel,
That's insane.
there's almost nothing to offer to Brazil too. And Bolsonaro is best friends of Netanyahu. So the thing is, Bolsonaro, it's I think it's obvious, but what I would say right now, but he's not prepared to be the president of Brazil. So he doesn't know how
He
to.
just does things like by ideological lines that are not even his
Yeah, yeah.
are ideological from other people.
So he's against China right now, and China is the primary uh, buyer of Brazilian products. So who we really depends of China.
Yeah,
Uh,
everything we have, yes,
yes,
electronics,
yes,
clothes,
yes, yes. But I'm talking here about commodities that China buys, right? Like rice, like
soy,
oil and
meat,
corn and meat, all kinds of meat. So
yes, like chicken and
need
beef.
China, right? And Bolsonaro is fighting against China for nothing.
Yeah.
So we have a crazy man in the presidency, and that it's really bad.
Yes, and dangerous. Oh, for example, Brazil bought 30, I don't remember the number right now, but Brazil bought soy from the United States.
Yeah,
Brazil is the second biggest producer of soy in the world. Say why we had to buy soy from another country?
we
Just hmm?
we buy rice too, arroz,
Yeah,
rice.
no, I got. I was just thinking why. What was
Oh
the
yeah,
reason?
yeah. I don't know.
I say what was the reason for doing that? I say he's trying to please Trump somehow. It's like
No,
a
but
farewell party. Like a
this
farewell
is
party.
this is a long time thing. Someone explained that to me a few years ago, but I don't remember right now why.
But explain like passando pano for Bolsonaro.
No, it's I think that happened really before Bolsonaro.
Okay. Brazil is
Brazil
buying
buys.
soy for a long time.
Yeah, yeah, and
That sounds very stupid to
I don't know
me.
why.
Doesn't matter if it's
Mm.
Bolsonaro or another president. It's really, really dumb. But anyways, because we are, I don't know, even Donald Trump already accept a little that he lost. Yeah.
Mhm.
Of course, he do not officially accept yet because he's very proud and obviously he would never admit
Yeah,
before a judicial decision. But the things are going for this way, right? That
yeah,
if officially Joe Biden won the election, and eventually Brazil is going to accept or had to accept, right?
yeah.
I don't know.
Brazil is losing uh, space, political space, in that delay of recognize the victory of Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Because we couldn't right now begin to talk with Biden staff and to begin to getting close to the next president, right?
Yeah, or to have
Diplomatic
an stable or
speaking.
diplomatic
Yeah,
relationship, right?
yeah, but
But
it's
it's expecting too much from our president. So
yeah,
he's not he's not able, he's not able to define what is what is good for our country and what is not good for our country. It's just
yeah,
it's just confusing.
really
I
confusing.
mean, because I don't know. It's even difficult to explain how crazy times we're living. You know, that's insane. That's really, really, really insane. But anyways, we are leaving December, thinking we are in March, and that's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
My friend, I'm going to leave you for your day. Thank you very much for your
Okay.
time for chatting. I know
Thank you. Thank you.
your days are always busy, but I hope to see you tomorrow. Okay, I
All
know
right.
that
I hope that you.
I know that never stops because all the things that happen has consequences, and you must
Yeah.
to be there, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your presence. Have
Thank
a
you,
great day,
man.
my friend. See you tomorrow.
You too. Bye.
Bye.